Qui-Gon Jinn is still always going to be my favorite Star Wars character. On with the review. So 25 years, 1999, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I still remember it being such a big thing. The promotional stuff, the merch, just the posters and everything. You're never going to get that kind of stuff again, I don't think, with how stuff was back in the day, because everything now is just kind of, even when they tried to bring Star Wars back, it still just didn't have that big of an impact and that kind of a thing, I felt, as much as this one did, because this was the one where it's like, holy crap, they're doing stuff again, and they just promoted it like it was everything and on everything, much like Godzilla 98. But you know the story for me, so I'll let everyone else know. Also, how y'all doing, by the way? You know my story about this, so I'll tell everyone. 1999, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. My family was going to go see it. We were visiting relatives in Wisconsin at that time. You know, they wanted to go see it, so my dad and my sister was like, hey, we're going to go too. And I'm like, no. I was too busy happy playing my freaking Pokemon on the Game Boy. You know, where I'm like, I'm playing Pokemon Blue. I'm watching Doug, Disney's Doug at that time, and all this stuff there. I'm like, I don't be bothered. But still, make sure to bring me home some McDonald's as a kid. And yeah, they enjoyed. To me at that time, seeing the trailers, like when you see like the creatures and Amidala's makeup and Darth Maul, I'm like, oh, they look so weird. And I don't know. It's like Star Wars has gotten this is weirder compared to the original Star Wars. So at the time I didn't have any interest, and that was my time. We did get McDonald's. I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed playing Pokemon. All I wanted to do was play Pokemon and watch those type of things. And then, of course, VHS comes along, and I actually get to watch it. I remember getting the VHS for that and Weird Al live. And, yeah, at the time. And just enjoying, and like, wow, I love these. And then, of course, go enjoy Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Great films. Enjoyed seeing them in theaters. But this is the first time for me seeing that movie in theaters. It took 25 years, but I finally got to see Phantom Menace. I was excited. So it was nice seeing the big screen. And again, Qui-Gon's my favorite character. Love him to death. And just everything about it. I don't mind Jar Jar. I love Jar Jar. Jar Jar is funny. He's cute. He's fun. He was enjoyable. It was good seeing 3PO, R2-D2. And again, that poster of Anakin when he's a little kid and then the shadow of him on there is such an iconic thing. And everything good about it, you know. Queen Amidala, Padme and all that stuff there. It's good seeing like the council of everybody with all the other one like Mace Windu, whatever. Yoda. Just cool thing there. Palpatine. So many good things. The pod racing. I remember one of my favorite things too was like Chuck E. Cheese and all that stuff. They had like the thing where you can get inside and pod race and the thing. So that was always kind of neat. So at least I know I enjoyed that. And good movie. I still enjoy it. It is what it is. Sure, it's got a little bit of cheesy stuff there. Some of the dialogue, of course, and the moments and all that stuff. But it's still better than anything that Disney has done. All the Disney stuff is, I'm sorry, especially the majority of it is just absolute garbage. With Qui-Gon, I mean, it's still kind of like, it's sad, but it still ticks me off that it's like, just how dumb Disney is nowadays, where they're like, do these like when he was going through the doors, melting through stuff, and yet nowadays the lightsaber is nothing. The lightsaber is just, oh look, I've been stabbed with it, I'm sliced with it, and yet I live. And it's like, bull. That's how stupid they are. I'm sorry, that's where you know it's just absolute garbage. They know nothing. This still has like a coherent thing, and as I know people like to cut it down, but these prequels still had an idea of something they were going towards. Whether it was the best thing ever or it pulled it off, I don't know. But, you know, this movie, The Phantom Menace, just memories of back in the day. And it was pretty nice seeing on the big screen. It still looked good there. Still wish there was more practical than there was CGI type stuff there, but it still looked fine. Again, no problems with Jar Jar. I still like the guy who owns them as a slave. Ugh. I love his character a lot. And I love those green guys. What are they? The green guys with the red eyes, the frog-looking people.
Oh, yeah.
The hell they're called? Yeah. Those are some of my favorite designs ever. They look so cool, and I like the way, so they talk like this. And then the way their mouths move, like how they don't match sometimes with their speaking. Like, are they purposely trying to do like a bad dubbing, like a Japanese thing? because they kind of sound like they're talking like. I love everything about them. They look so cool. I love the battles. And again, I don't mind Jar Jar. I still like Jar Jar. Great movie. The kid was great as Anakin. Just, like what you knew then. If only we knew then what we know now. Halloween Kills. But so great. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Still kicking the gut, I mean, with Qui-Gon. But Liam Neeson, he's still my favorite character. Love it. All plus, like so many pluses again. Great film. So happy to see it in the theaters. And yeah, 25 years, I can't believe. So now it's your time, friend, to let me know what you want, and we'll just end it with you.
All right, so personally, I do have a little bit of nostalgia because I and my family used to collect a lot of the Star Wars stuff back in the day because there was so much merch. I remember even when we were little, we went to different Pizza Huts to try to get the pizza boxes that had the art design on it.
Oh, yeah, that stuff was always so neat. I'm glad they're bringing that kind of stuff back, too.
I remember when we had a couple local stores go out of business, and we just tried to gather as much Star Wars stuff as we could. I had so much. I had the alarm clocks that were a pod racer. I had the Boo Fighter. I had anything from like McDonald's toys, basically, to really nice toys.
Like those cups, those cups were neat.
But that's enough with the merch because you can go on forever how much stuff they had for that.
Oh,
they even had the little tiny, seemed like those little Fisher game type electronic things. They had so much. It can go on forever. But let's get back to the movie. So I personally think that despite the nostalgia, I think the movie still stands up to this day. As you said, they did seem like they had a direction they wanted to have with this. I know some people think it's a little slow because of the bureaucracy, but they're trying to world build. It's supposed to get you into the way the whole universe works because they're introducing a lot of new concepts in this movie. I liked some of the stuff they did back in the day. That nice twist of Queen Amidala was really nice. I do agree Qui-Gon Jinn was my favorite. I even had a little pillow to sleep on that had his face on it. So yeah, we had a lot of merch.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still saying, I used to like Star Wars, but that just wasn't, at the time. Like I said, it wasn't until a year later when it was on VHS and you like it. And I was sitting there making my own, because I liked how the little droids looked, those little, that doesn't compute. You're right, I liked how they looked. And I remember drawing my own comics. I drew my own comics and did my own continuing stories of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan doing their own thing, often doing so there because I wanted to see more of him and more of that kind of stuff. So I did my own thing with that, So that was awesome stuff back in the day.
Yeah, you really can't get enough of him. It's just not fair. I mean,
which is why it's stupid now. So these other characters in Disney nowadays, they get stabbed and stuff there. And it's like, oh, well, they missed a vital organ, so that's why they didn't die. It's like, that's some BS. Even if that made sense, did you see how the heat was doing to the stuff like that? The heat enough should just kill you. It's such bull. But going with Phantom Menace being cool.
Well, there are some things I don't like about it. They introduced Qui-Gon Jinn and he dies in the first movie. They introduced Darth Maul, who's supposed to be Darth Vader, and then he dies in the first movie.
It's ugly SLB, but he still looked really cool and devilish and kind of demonic looking, which I always thought was kind of neat. And the cloaking and everything was pretty neat.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like a quick thing.
So those are some things I didn't like about it. But for me personally, for the 3 prequel movies, this is my favorite one. I really do like the pod racing. All the battle scenes are really nice. I like how they build suspense, even though you just know the only way the story can continue is if they win. But they build suspense where it looks like they're just going to lose.
And the good music again, John Williams' score. The music is always just top notch in there with the battling scenes and everything. Just very good stuff.
Yeah, that music is iconic.
Plus, it was nice for me to see that dun da 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 for Phantom Menace on the big screen. It's like, oh yay!
So yeah, the battles are really nice. The building of the suspense was done very well. They spaced it out that way you don't get, if you are one of those people that need a lot of action, there's still plenty of that in there. It does revolve around the characters despite all the battling. What I do like about films like this compared to ones nowadays is that the movie could be serious and doesn't need humor to break it up. Nowadays, movies seem like they just throw humor in there, and it just feels out of place, or it just doesn't feel like it suits the character.
But then,
or something.
Jar Jar was
a comic relief.
The comic relief that was constantly thrown in there.
But
most of the time, it worked for me. I still liked him. Like when he's like, my tongue. And then when Qui-Gon's like, don't do that again. When he's with his tongue, he's like, don't do that.
Yeah, and that's why some people don't like this film. But I thought when he was in war, when he was in the battle, and he was a general, I thought his battle sequence was pretty good. How he actually destroyed a lot of the enemy foes.
Yeah.
Sure, it was on accident, but it still was pretty cool. Like taking the broken droid with his foot.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yep. And then shooting the enemies or dropping those big orbs or big boomers on the tank.
But he said boobas at first. I was like, here, grab the booba. I'm like, booba? What the hell? I mean, they're round and stuff, but I'm like, what?
I think the special effects were done very well. I thought the background scenery was beautiful. Naboo is just a beautiful place. It would actually be a nice fictional place to live in, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that stuff was very nice.
And so I thought I thought they did a good job overall, and I think it still holds up to this day.
Lucas did good. Lucas did well. Did well, my friend. He did a good job on these. I thought so. Great movie.
And I don't know. I'd like to see the other three prequels. The other
back in theaters again? Hell yeah.
2 of the 3 prequels in theaters too. So that'd be nice to review those.
It's a shame that they do have that one thing where you can see all 9 films. But then I would leave once. The good thing would be you would leave at those other 3 garbage Disney films. But it's still, that's a lot of sitting. That's like, what? I think it was like 24 hours in total or something. So I'm like, well, okay, so something like that. So I'm like, all right, so 12 hours, then we can cut it out type of thing or something, or 15 hours in or something. I was like, at least we can do that, but it's still costly.
Well, yeah.
And the seats are like all gone anyway, and I think it's done. I don't know what happened. But go on.
I think if you could somehow find a way to still see it in theaters, I think you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, if you're a fan, go do it.
I think
it's still a good movie.
It is still a good movie.
I don't care what anyone says.
Personally, I still think the best way to view the movies is, 4 through 6, then the prequels. I think you lose the suspense in some of the stuff if you don't do it that way. But definitely, I think still a great movie to check out if you're a Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I actually want to go back and get more of the merch that I used to have.
I know, right?
Play the games.
Phantom Menace still holds up again, just like everything. The Mummy we just saw, go check a review on that. The Spider-Man films, they all just still hold up, which is funny compared to, how things just kind of suck nowadays for the most part.
And that's why these older movies are doing very well in theaters, because
Phantom Menace did its opening the weekend. I was like, wow, good job. Box office.
I hope it's a wake-up call for Hollywood. I doubt it.
Be, but
I hope it is, because it's beating some of their new movies.
The only wake-up call they'll get is when they crash and burn and they have to start going back to making stuff for the audience that's the 99% of the people that want to see the stuff, instead of catering to that small percentage of people who won't go see their stuff that they cater to.
Please comment below if you have any nostalgia of this movie, or collecting any of the merch.
Good memories.
Or even if you just got into Star Wars, how you feel like it compares to the other Star Wars films.
Yeah, it again, back in the day, it reignited my liking for Star Wars. I was just then had to go see the other ones in theaters, and wanted to get the some toys, some merch, and just do my own little story and art and stuff, and it was fun.
So definitely
brought it back.
Let us know what you think. We'd love to tell you more about our wonderful experience with these movies when we were young, and still to this day. If you like this video or like to see more, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And
may the force be with you.
Yes. Stay now.
See you next time.
Bye. What I like what they did with episode 1 versus what they basically did in episode 7 is that episode 1, yes, it was a prequel to the first 3 movies. But it didn't try to rip off necessarily the formula of let's say episode 4.
They did their own thing, but sure, you throw in Yoda, but I mean Yoda's around at this time, so of course you throw in Yoda and R2-D2, but you have to, because if this is beforehand, so of course they're gonna have to be somewhere along the Skywalkers, etc. job and everything. But then, yeah, like you said, for like say episode 7, now it's like they rely too much, like everything kind of nowadays does. They rely too much on, hey, you know that joke, remember me, the member berries, you know, so like that. It's always relying on too much of that. And The Force Awakens was basically nothing but the first movie just for a modern audience type of garbage, and it just didn't work.
I remember.
Plus, it was just that, like I said, it felt like when you saw the next ones, you're like, boy, they had no clue where they were going with this, basically, with the next 2 or something.
I remember walking out of episode 7, and my mom asked, "Hey, how was the movie?" And then basically they described it as, you know, exactly what we said. It's basically, if you like, you know, episode 4, you're gonna like this because it's basically a retelling of the story.
And that's just what, like, come on. I mean, that's what's... And then they tried their other stuff in the other 2, and they were just miserable. And I don't know, that's why they're like, no one's going to care about those as much as the other 6. But I agree, it was it's an experience. And I like that it wasn't a thing. And it didn't rely too much on, yes, we know it's Vader, yes, we know this. But it didn't, like, do what they do now with every movie, where it's like, you got to constantly throw that stuff in there. Remember this movie? Remember the movie you like? Remember the movies you like? Remember the whatever you like? It does rely too much on that with everything nowadays. Oh, yeah. And then also, like you said before, with the negativity, one of the things was, of course, I think everyone agrees, the midi-chlorian thing is meh.
Yeah, it did not need to be explained.
But, you know, that's how they do it. They always gotta do it. You know, everything can't be perfect, for the most part.
Well, yeah.
But it's like, you know, we have to do something like, well, Mike, like with the Rob Zombie Halloween, we have to see why he did it. It's like, why? Why can't Michael Myers just be the shape, that bad thing? You know, we always gotta, why they become this. It's like, I mean, I guess that's the whole thing of why they're saying why, you know, Anakin becomes Vader. It was kind of one of the first things to do it on such a big scale with Star Wars. So it still kind of worked, but I still feel like if they never did do it, it would have been kind of fine, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And then that's it.